Hi friends, it's Mr. Alex from Adams Memorial Library, and it's finally time for another installment of the Online Origami Club. So be sure to stop here at the library and pick up your Online Origami Club kit, either in the children's room or at our curbside pickup. And inside you're going to find all sorts of paper in different colors and patterns that you can use to make the projects that I'm about to show you. This week we're going to be making a really cool origami ice cream cone, and there are just a few things that we'll need in order to put it together. So let me tell you what those are, and we'll get started. Now, those of you who have been a part of the Online Origami Club before, you know what we'll need, but for those who are new this fall, let's take a quick refresher. So first, we're going to need some practice paper, and this is so that we can get really good at folding our Online Origami Club projects. Now, you can use any paper that you want. You can use construction paper, notebook paper. I happen to have some of my own origami paper, and I really love this space pattern, so I'm going to practice with it. Then, we're going to need our final sheets of paper out of our Online Origami Club kit. And this week, we have a white piece of construction paper and a brown piece of construction paper. And at the end of the video, I'll show you how these two go together to make a really cool final origami ice cream. Then, we're going to want to decorate our final origami ice cream, and in order to do that, we're going to need a couple of things. We'll need some markers, some crayons, and also some glue. So gather those up from home, and if your practice piece of paper is not already a square, then you'll also need scissors as well to trim it into a perfect square. So let's grab all of that, and we'll go ahead and get started. And now that we have our perfectly square piece of practice paper, it's time to start making our practice origami ice cream. In order to do that, we're going to take a look at our piece of paper, and we're going to look at what patterns it has on each side. So for instance, mine has two different patterns on each side, and yours may not. That's completely okay. But in my case, we have this space pattern on one side and this solid sort of purple color on the other side. And so what we're going to do is, if you do have a piece of paper like this and one of the sides is solid and the other is patterned, then we're going to want to use the solid side to make our ice cream and the patterned side to make our cone. So in order to do that, we're going to start with our ice cream side up. So in this case, it'll be the solid color for me. And with that face up, we're going to set it diagonally like this and just fold over, folding our piece of paper in half. And that's going to create a nice skyline down the middle for us to start our origami. Now, keep in mind, as always, with the Online Origami Club, we want to make sure that everything lines up perfectly and that we're making nice sharp creases down our project. So at this point, we can open it back up, and we're going to have that guideline that I was talking about right here, down the middle of our project. Once we have that, we're going to fold this edge here and this edge here into the center guideline of our project, just like this. And it's going to make something that looks a little bit like a kite. Again, we want to make sure that everything lines up perfectly, make those nice sharp creases, and we will have something that looks like this. Once we have our kite shape, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fold this tab here and this tab here down to the edges of our project. And the way that we'll know that we've done this correctly is if there should be a straight edge at the bottom of our triangle that's created. So we'll fold this side down this way, just like this. And then we have that triangle with a flat straight edge here at the bottom. And then we're going to do the same, just folding this side down until we have our same triangle on this side. So we'll go ahead and do that now. And that'll give us something that looks like this. If your triangles don't line up the first time, like mine didn't there, then you may want to refold until they are both meeting at this center point right here. Once we have this shape, it's time to round off the edges of our project a little bit. And the way that we're going to do that is just take each side and fold it back like that. So from here to here, like that. And then repeat on this side. So we'll take one side, fold it back, pull it nice and tight against the edge of our project, crease it off, then take the other side, fold it nice and tight against the edge of our project, and crease that off as well. And at this point, our ice cream cone should be starting to take shape and look something like this. Once we have this shape, it is time to fold our project over, and we are simply going to fold this side here and this side here in to this point. So just like we made our kite shape down here, we're going to take this and fold into the center point along that guideline that we made at the start of our project. Line it up. Once we're happy with it, crease it off and recrease the bottom of our project there too. And then we'll just repeat on this other side here, folding it into our guideline, making sure it lines up, and creasing it off as well. So now we should have something that looks like this. And now it's time for the last step of our project, and we're going to create that sort of soft serve look for our ice cream cone. And how we're going to do that is we're just going to fold part of the way down on our ice cream cone like this. So taking this top portion, folding it down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it back up, but not the whole way. We're going to leave a little step in between here. And one of the most important things you can do is to make sure that the line that's created here at the bottom, this fold, is completely even and straight across your project. If it's a little bit crooked, that's fine, but it's going to show up in the front of your project as well. And when we fold this second step that I'm about to show you, the more crooked this part is, the more crooked your next step is going to be as well. And that can be okay. That might be a look that you really like for your origami, but if you want it to look even, you want to make sure that that line is evenly spaced. Then we have a step in our ice cream that looks like this, and we're just going to repeat it again, leaving a little bit at the top here, this little distance right here, creasing it off, making sure it's nice and even and straight. And then finally, for our last part, folding the point of our ice cream back up. So we have this sort of accordion or step shape that looks like this, and those creases, when we turn it around, are going to give our ice cream that soft serve look. And congratulations, we've finished our practice origami ice cream. Now you might want to get some ideas on how to decorate your origami ice cream, and at this point we can decorate it with our markers, crayons, and other supplies that we have at home. But I'm going to show you a really cool way that we can create an origami ice cream for our final project. So let me show you how we're going to do that. Once we've practiced making our origami ice cream cone and we've gotten really, really good at it, it's time to make that final origami ice cream cone that I've been talking about. So in order to do that, you're going to get the brown and white sheets of paper out of your Origami Club kit, and we're actually going to glue them together. Now, traditional origami doesn't use glue or tape, but I couldn't resist this really awesome pattern, so I figured it might be worth using for this one. And what we're going to do is that we're going to glue our white sheet of paper and our brown sheet of paper together so that they line up perfectly, just like this. And then with the white on one side and the brown on the other, we'll be able to follow the instructions that I gave and use it so that this side is our ice cream and this side is our cone. Once we've folded our origami ice cream using that pattern, we're going to get something that looks a lot like this. And as you can see, we can take your crayons or maybe even your marker and decorate it to look exactly like the real thing. Now, if you don't have crayons or glue or anything like that at home, then any piece of paper will work, but I thought this would be a really cool way to make a really special piece of origami. Now, don't forget that I would love to see how your origami ice cream turned out, so send those pictures on over to us at kids@adamslib.org, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to get updates not only about the Online Origami Club, but all of the other great things that we're doing here at the library. And as always, happy crafting, everybody.